Welcome back to this edition of the RE Agent Podcast. I am your host, Vikram Deol. Cody normally does this. This is our 17th take of trying to do it. I hope you guys hear the bloopers. I got a really cool dude on right now. He's a real estate agent. He's an investor. He's into crypto, Web3. He does a whole bunch of things. He got into real estate after consulting with a lot of different companies like Netflix, like builders, Fortune 500 companies, maybe Fortune 100 companies. And then he dabbled into real estate, kind of hit it on the nail. Like you just took that hammer and just fucking drove the nail right into the wood and sold 34 homes in your first 8 months, started a team. And this is what I would consider the typical projection of a standard real estate agent. You come in, first year, 34 homes, $500,000 in commission, build a team, another $1 million in commission, and you're just living the typical real estate agent lifestyle, right? Making not $45,000 a year, but making $450,000 a year plus. Correct, Robert?
Easy. Yeah, man. You just, as long as you submit your form on time, the clients and the checks just come in automatically.
I love it. You guys, I'm super pumped to have Robert on. He's a sarcastic dude, doing super well. It seems like has his hands in a lot of different spaces. But Robert, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah. So, for everybody who didn't understand, that was pure sarcasm because we like to have fun. The reality is that when you get into real estate, you're probably going to fail. That's the truth. That's the stats. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But you don't have to
this
fail.
Show. This is going to be all positivity here, y'all.
That's the silver lining, though, is you don't have to. You probably will, and it'll probably be your choices that lead you down that path, but you don't have to. And that's the thing is like we get into that peer pressure thing, and we turn around and we say, okay, we are just another statistic, and we act like another statistic, and we live like another statistic, and then we're shocked when we end up as another statistic. It's so weird. I don't understand the correlation, right?
So weird. Let's do this. Let's get a little history.
Sorry, I got into it already. Tell me about yourself. Well, listen here.
No, I like it. I like getting right into the truth. And the truth is that 85 to 90% of real estate, let me just break something out to you guys. So this might give you a glimmer of hope. Patrick McDavid, who I just love on YouTube, and I've seen him speak in real life. So I fell in love with him even more, like definitely a man crush. Did you know that 50% of businesses that were Fortune 500 or Inc. 500, I don't remember what it was, but they were the top companies back in 1970 are just straight up gone. Like they're just straight up gone. And, I want you to maybe give yourself a little bit of grace as a real estate agent because nobody told you when you took your classes and you spent $400 and got your license that you were now an entrepreneur. They totally forgot to mention that, you were an entrepreneur and you're responsible for everything from lead management to lead marketing, to buyers, to sellers, to signage, to branding and all that stuff. But they never taught you that you were actually a salesperson and that you had a fiduciary responsibility, whether you take that or not, to your client. And so maybe just a glimmer of hope that some of the biggest companies in the world disappear year after year after year. But the stat is true. Robert is 100%. So why are you passionate about real estate? Out of all the things, because you've worked with some really big companies, and I'm sure you had opportunities. Why real estate?
I love this topic, and it's really, really near and dear to my heart to talk about it. So yeah, I worked on contracts with really big companies. Most of them were actually in the video game sector. My office was right above Square Enix, for anybody who knows it, and got to see those guys every day in the elevator. I love video games. I love creativity. It was a blast. I did PR, contract negotiations, business development. I got to do so many things in that space. And it was amazing. And I loved my time there, and I met great people. But something I learned very quickly and harshly about these companies is they did not love me. No matter how much money I made them, no matter how much time I gave them, they did absolutely nothing to show their appreciation for it. And I know that's going to make some people mad, but the truth is, it's the truth. And you can be upset all you want.
Didn't Amazon just lay off 18,000 people that they love so dearly? And
right.
Who else just laid off 10,000 people yesterday? 30,000 people are now jobless, and they were probably making really good money because
And
there's
so
a lot of love in the company.
there were some bad things that happened in a particular company that I ended up working in a salary position for versus like a contractor position. And I called out those things, and me and my very foolish mindset said, I'll bring it to their HR department, and they're going to be knights in shining armor. They're going to do something about this, and it's going to be amazing, and we're going to protect the person who is being taken advantage of. The company's going to be better off forever for it. I was doing PR for them. I'm like, this is going to be like great for the back end of PR and just having this way to talk about them in such a positive way. And they looked at me and they said, none of it's true. You're the problem. And a week before my wedding, fired me.
Sweet.
And I'm like, so I'm a Christian. And I went to God and I said, God, what the heck, man? I'm one of the youngest guys in this position in America, as far as I knew, that did what I did. And I had a bunch of information. And I go, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't want to go back into this cycle, because I was like, if it happened here, it'll happen everywhere. And I won't turn a blind eye. If this corruption happens here, it's going to happen in the next company, and they're probably going to do the exact same thing to me. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my family through this roller coaster of repetitiveness. So then I said, okay, I'm good with numbers. I'm good with structure. I'm good with building stuff. And I said, okay. I started looking at industries that let me build stuff, whether it was like sales, where you could build sales teams, or whether you could build sales products, right? And then I looked at data and I said, well, man, more millionaires are made from real estate than any other industry, like by far. And then also more regular average Joes are impacted by real estate in a positive or negative way than I believe in any other industry. For example, you've never heard someone say, by picking the right auto insurance policy, I changed the generational wealth of my family forever. Now, yes, pick a great auto insurance policy. Absolutely, be smart. Everything you do in life, be as smart as you can when you're doing it. But you have heard people go,
Geico hasn't changed anybody's generational wealth by saving them 27% on their auto insurance?
I don't think so. Never heard the story. And let me tell you, if that story existed, Geico would be playing the heck out of that every single day on repeat for you. But in real estate, you listen to people and they go, well, I bought my first home. And then from there on, the story begins of how their life started changing. I said, okay, wait a second. There's money involved. I'm good with money. There's contracts involved. I'm good with contracts. And there's people who have a need. There's a need in this industry, because I looked at the average agent. I said, you have no idea what you're doing, but I can help you learn, the agent, and I can do that by teaching the client as well. So I said, I'm going into real estate because it seems relevant. It's not. I want to make something clear. I'm way different than most agents out there on Facebook who go, I just love people and I love looking at houses and they're amazing and beautiful. I don't care. If it was another industry, I would have went there. I went where I felt I could make the greatest impact. And that's why I'm in real estate, is I could make the greatest impact and make the most money at the same time.
So I creeped on your Instagram a little bit just to kind of get a feel for who I would be interviewing. And I saw you made a post, I think it was right around Christmas time. I could be wrong, but I think it was right around Christmas time. And you basically said, if you're trying to get into real estate, and Cody and I talk about this all the time, it's if you're trying to get into real estate to make money, you'll probably fail, right? Because real estate's probably, like I've been blessed to have 6 or 7 industries that I've been a part of in my career, whether it be wellness or telecommunications, and I've owned the businesses, right? So I've had a real estate company, I've had the real estate team, I was a solo agent, and real estate is never ending, always demanding. Like, at least if when I had a brick and mortar, right, Robert, like I could shut the store down and then people would call and they would send a voicemail or an Instagram or whatever the form of communication was, but you could turn off the business, right? Like you could turn off people. Like, I sent you an Instagram message last night. I'm like, what time? 11:30 at night. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to respond to that. Like, we're just not going to. But in real estate, we have this weird connection that we feel we need to be a 24/7 service monkey for our clients. And there's a lot of reasons behind it. But you got into real estate to make a difference and an impact and a change in people's lives. And my hallucination says that because you had that viewpoint, you were willing to do the work to learn what you needed to know to be super successful entrepreneur that happens to sell homes for a career.
That's right. I'm not in real estate for real estate at all. I wasn't an investor before I got into real estate either. I wasn't here to sell houses. I was here because this seemed like the best place where I could utilize my unique skill set and experience to make the highest impact in other people's lives. If it was car insurance, I would have got into car insurance. If it was life insurance, I would have got into life insurance. The data showed me otherwise. And then my conscience told me that if I didn't go and do this thing, I would be willingly not helping people that I believe I was meant to help.
So now we're going to go woo woo, whether you believe in, whatever your background is. Like I say people need a higher power, because if you don't have a higher power, we end up idolizing celebrities.
Lost. Yeah. You get lost in crap.
Yeah. And like, you're not really living a fulfilled life, because, you're worshiping, people that are put on this earth by a higher power. And so whatever your beliefs are, non-beliefs are, don't get offended, but you went and had a conversation with God, right? Your God, and you were given a pathway, right? You were given a sign, you were given a download, and then intuitively you trusted that to take you to where you're at now.
Right. It definitely wasn't the data. The data told me that that's why I started it this way, right? The data told me that I should fail. And literally think about this for a second. Imagine you went to go to an interview for a job and they said, listen, chances are when you start this job, you have an 80% chance to not get paid. You'd be like, you're an idiot. I'm not going to take this job. Are you kidding me? I got bills to pay and people rely on me. So it wasn't a logical decision as far as the data showed. It was a conscious decision as far as my conscience and then my skill set. And that's where it came from.
So let's talk about that. Because, we're both in the coaching space. We both work to help other people. I think we both got into real estate for somewhat similar reasons. Like I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to sell a product I love selling, may as well sell one that has a high ticket item, but one that I can also help people do something with, right? Like I would assume that when you were going through your corporate crisis and you saw how they treated you, you're like, holy crap, like the product's great, but the back end is horrible.
Truly.
I just can't do that for myself anymore. And I don't want to be a part of a company where this is how, or an industry where this is how people are treated.
Right.
So you went to where you could change the culture, you could change the dynamic, you could say,
I was the culture. I am my company's culture.
Right. And so you get to change the dynamic of what you didn't like in the corporate world. There's a lot of people that get into real estate and they get in because of I call it the shiny light syndrome, the glitz and the glamour, right? All they see is Vegas shiny lights, but when you go put your money on the table, you typically end up walking out with less than you walked in. Right.
And that is a common story. Yeah.
So people don't typically make money in Vegas. They lose money. But there's the glitz and the glamour. There's the thought that you can make money. And that's a very drawing thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What are the skills, right? You said I looked at my skill sets. I looked at the data. Most people never look at the data. They never look at their skills. So what are the skill sets that, in your opinion, would cause a real estate agent to be successful in their first 12, 18, 24 months so that they don't go out of business?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a few things on it. So there's personal ones and there's practical ones. So the personal ones is you need to be honest. I believe in honesty so much. You can't see it, but I have a book over here. It's called We're All Liars. I wrote a book about being honest because I realized that even the most honest people are pathological liars. Okay. We lie to ourselves every single day. I don't care how honest you are. You accept lies and you give lies. And we need to address that so that we can actually do something about it. So first one is honesty. Why, that honesty in every scenario, it's going to help you have a compass in which direction to go. Because when you make decisions based off of lies, your path is always foggy and unclear. So the first one is honesty, right? I don't think you need to love people, by the way. I'm not talking about Christian side of things. Christians, you have to love people, right? That's part of that faith. I'm talking about as a person, I don't think you need to love people to get into real estate and be successful. I think that's actually a false pretense that misleads a lot of people into real estate, and they crash and burn.
Building the 4 questions of rapport, Robert, isn't going to make me a likable, trustable, knowable, honest real estate agent that everybody's going to want to do business with?
Nope.
Ninja selling isn't going to make me connect with my client and prospect in a way that I'm going to be the ninja selling so many blades. Like, that's not how it works.
Listen, ninja selling's awesome, but there's a depth that I feel like is missing, right? I'm not... Yeah, we're in a relationship business. I agree, but I feel like it's like there's 2 equal things we're in, but we only talk about the one thing. And then the other thing's behind our back. Here's the thing. I am in the impact business. I tell agents this all the time when I'm talking about, they're like, well, how do you build relationships with your clients? And I said, well, one is, it is a simple technique, right? I'm going to let you guys in a little secret. You want to know what a brand is how to figure out what your brand is. List 5 emotions that you want people to feel when they think of you and when they work with you, and you just discovered your brand, right? And so to make it clear, and this ruffles feathers and people think I'm crazy in real estate for saying this, I don't want my clients to think I'm their best friend. I'm not. I will never be their best friend unless, they happen to actually be that rare case where someone actually becomes best friend. I don't call my clients family. And to be honest, I think it's really frustrating because then those same agents are mad when clients call them at midnight. Well, you know who can call me at midnight? My mom. And I'll answer. And my sisters and my brother. But do you know who I don't want calling me at midnight? Client. I don't. They're not my family. They're not my best friend. But do you know what I am to them? I am the absolute best agent they will ever meet. And they can rely on me for things relevant to what I do. And there's no better choice. And that's what I want them to feel. So that's honesty, right? And so that goes back to your question. That honesty is I'm not in real estate to make best friends. I'm in real estate to make the highest impact possible for my life and theirs. And that requires a very specific set of skills and processes, right? So honesty is one of them. And then we go into more practical application. I think you need to know how to handle not just objections. I think you need to know how to have purpose-driven conversations.
What's a purpose-driven conversation?
Right. So a lot of people, it's like people focus on scripts and they go, I've got the perfect script. I just need a better script and then I'll be good. And I'm like, you'll take the script and then what do you do when they respond to the script and it's not on the script anymore? The thing is that you don't have a purpose. And because you don't have a purpose, you're looking for a step 1, a step 2, and a step 3. But if it doesn't follow that exact sequence, it's like you forgot how to talk to someone. But if you have a purpose, I'm going to seek that purpose and I'm going to find, no matter who I'm talking to, no matter what personality type, I'm basically going to experiment along the way, the best way to get to that purpose. And so purpose-driven conversation, right? Little trademark right there, right? Purpose-driven conversations, right? It's where, let's say I want to get someone to set a listing appointment with me. I do have a purpose. I'm not calling in just to say hi. I'm not like, hey, Vikram, it's Robert, your local real estate agent. Hey, I'm just coming in to check on you. No, I'm not. I'm lying to you if I say that.
Totally.
Right? But I have a purpose.
How you doing today? It's like, why the fuck are you calling me? What reason is calling me? And then people wonder why they get objections. Nobody likes talking to me. I'm like, do you like talking to yourself? No, not really. Like, but when you're at a bar, do you like talking to your friends? Like, yeah. Do people like you? Yeah. Do you have friends? Yeah. So clearly people don't hate you. You're not by yourself. You just have no purpose.
Right.
You're not conscious to what you say.
Right. And so when you have a purpose-driven conversation, you'll learn how to handle objections, but purpose keeps you on track even when you fail at the objection, even when you suck at it and you make it awkward. Hello, I've made it awkward 1,000 times on the phone, text messages. I've had people block me, call me horrible things, but I still had a purpose, and that purpose didn't waver, even if it didn't go the way that I thought it would.
Well, there's some integrity involved.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like if you're calling an expired listing by chance, you're not going to say, oh, well, I have a buyer for your expired listing. And you're like, no, I don't have a buyer. I don't have a buyer. Like, and I'm lying to you. And then when I come over and you're like, oh, what do you think your buyer is going to think? And you're like, oh, well, well, let's do a listing presentation. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, that's not what you called me for.
Right?
Like that kind of conversation.
Yeah, and then the thing is that I actually talk about it in the book too. Is that you're starting off your relationship on lies, and you would be so pissed off if you found out they were lying to you. And I'm like,
Great job. Even if you did exactly what you said, it's like, wow, we started our relationship like you cheated on me. It's like, I don't.
yep, that's your most trusted advisor is a liar. I'm good, man. I'm good. Could you imagine, like, you go into meet a doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, by the way, I'm not actually a doctor. I never got the degree. I've never performed surgery. Let's go in. You'd be like, no.
There is a lawsuit right now. I don't know if it's Washington. I'm in Santiago, Chile. I've been gone from the States for like 3 months, so I don't really pay attention. But I saw something on Instagram where a doctor is being sued, either in Washington State or in Washington D.C. He's being sued because he was false advertising, because what he was showing on Instagram with a lot of paid purchases and paid likes and paid followers, it made him appear like he was a much bigger, more successful. And then people who used him did not get the results that they were hoping for because he didn't have the experience. And now there's a huge lawsuit against him. So, like this whole thing about integrity is important.
Right? It reminds me kind of like, and I'm going to make an exception, a little disclaimer. This is not for those who do it because their MLS, brokerage, or association requires it. But everywhere else, it's like when you mislead into people thinking like you put your face as a team leader on a billboard and you go, I sold 500 homes. What happens is a client is thinking you're creating a perception that you, the person on the billboard, will give them 500 homes worth of experience and skill, when in reality, they're going to be paired up with an agent who sold 2 homes. And that's really misleading. Now, I'm not saying team leaders can't put their names on or not. That's a whole different topic. I'm willing to talk about it another time. All I'm saying is be very careful how you lead that perception, because to be honest, if I had a doctor tell me, and I love using doctor because serious things, right? Buying a home is serious. It can change your trajectory forever, right? And if I had a doctor say, like, listen, like kind of what you just said, listen, I performed 500 surgeries, right, about removing your tonsils. Everything's going to be great. Don't worry about it. And then I find out that it's not him. It's someone else who studied under him, but they've only done it once, or it's their first time. I would be so much less confident. I'd have so much more anxiety. And I think the likelihood of a successful outcome would be exponential.
Right. Just say you're on a team. Like, hey, we have.
What's wrong with that? I don't understand. I had one guy make fun of me because I run a team, and he mocked me because I let agents on my team write the contract in their name. So when he looked me up on the MLS, he was like, you only sold like 3 or 4 homes. So I was like, yeah, because my team sells all the homes now. I'm not going to pretend that I sell more homes than I do. To be honest, that gives me imposter syndrome. I don't have the knowledge of someone who sold 100 homes by themselves that year because I didn't.
Fair enough.
Why would I want to be anybody other than who I am?
Fair enough. No, I mean, that goes back to your principle of honesty and integrity. So I'm going to change gears because we got to.
I know. I'm crazy.
We could no. We could go down this for a long time because I agree. There's a lot of things that that we did as teams because that's what we were told to do by the coaches that we were working with, and like I got a text from one of my clients today. He's like, dude, I hate using my team scripts. He's like, I hate they're so disingenuous. He's like, but they won't let me use our conversation topics because like, I don't know why. He's like, but it just feels so dirty because I know I'm lying and I know that there's other ways of doing it. I'm like, well, maybe you need to have a conversation about where you're hanging your head at night, because if you don't feel good about it, you're probably not going to be very successful.
Yeah.
And I said, so, maybe that's our next call. We talk about what are the pros and cons of you staying or leaving this particular company. And we help you find a place where it causes you to want to show up. So let's switch gears here.
Sounds good.
Because you have a team. You've only been in the industry for a few years. You've done a few hundred home sales between you and your company, if not more. What are 3 things, or let's just start with one thing that you believe in 2023 real estate agents need in order to be successful? What
Great
is it
question.
you're working with your team members on, I guess would even be better, so that they succeed in this shifting market?
Yeah. So here's the thing, and I know a lot of people, they're always looking for a magic bullet, the silver bullet, magic pill, and they're always like, 2023, what's the secret, right? And I know you didn't ask that, but I'm addressing that mentality, which is, what's the secret? Well, here's the secret. You do the things that produce results, and you do them every day, and you do them consistently, and then guess what you get? Results. So at a base level, just do things that work. Now, let's get actually into some details, right? Not just be that super vague coach in the corner who's like, oh, just do all the things that are right and then you'll be successful. And it's like, great, could you give me some details? So I'm going to show you tell you where I'm really leaning into on my coaching clients, and then even my direct team. And that is tracking, time management, and efficiency. What I have been discovering as I've been really diving into this deeper and deeper, and I did this for some of the big companies as well, is just how much waste is in almost every real estate agent, business, team leader, or brokerage that I meet, including my own, by the way. I've got waste. I'll give you a quick example. One agent has been in real estate longer than me. I looked at his business, and in 1 month, I pinpointed how out of the 120 hours he said he worked, he had 94 hours unaccounted for, or that produced 0 results. So it's not that he needs to work more. That's an illusion. That's a lie that we're told. It's just that he needs to actually work the hours he's working, but it's not working more hours. So, but he didn't know either, because he had been at actually one of the largest teams. I won't say the brokerage name, one of the largest teams at a brokerage in the world. Never was taught the basic principles of running a profitable and efficient business. Then he went to a big brokerage, never taught the blah, 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 right? Then he joined there, never, blah. And then I was like, well, hey, man, how much time do you spend? I don't know. What do you get for the time that you spent? I don't know. Well, dude, no wonder you're struggling. You don't know what you're doing, how much you're doing it, and what you get for how much time you're spending on it. And so tracking is a big thing that I'm looking into in teaching agents, is how to track what the right things are to track too. There's also that over tracking, and teaching them what to track so they can set real goals. And let me give you an example of that, because I like giving actual useful tools, right? So everybody says time block. Yeah, everybody says time block. I felt like that was still really vague. What does it mean to time block? And how do I know how much? You got to time block lead gen every day. One person says 2 hours, another says 6. Who's right? Here's how you learn, okay? You go and you overcompensate it first. Let's say you're going to go do cold calling, because it's just so easy to talk about it. Okay, I'm going to go do cold calling. I'm going to dial, and instead of setting an hourly goal, like I'm going to dial for 6 hours, set a number goal, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to track how long it takes you to reach that goal. Now, you're going to track first the calls, which, guess what? If you're making calls, really easy to do, because your phone tells you how long you're on the phone for. Vikram, if I call you and it takes me 5 minutes to talk to you, and that becomes a statistical average for me, now when I need to talk to 300 people to set one appointment or whatever, I know how long to time block for. Because all I do is I say, okay, if it takes 300 people and it takes me this long to dial that many people, then I time block for that much, add a little bit of room just in case a conversation goes over. And now I'm actually time blocking that's relevant to the goal and the results that I'm trying to accomplish.
Totally. We're going to have to cut it short, but this is such a great place to end. And one of the guys in the Real Estate Growth Academy, he's like, he comes from a world of selling kitchen knives, Cutco knives. And so just a different mentality around calls. And we were chatting and he goes, I've been on the phone for 6 hours today. I've done 300 dials with a single line dialer. I've had 15 conversations. I did two booked appointments, and I have 2 in the pipeline for follow-up tomorrow. And I was like, awesome. He's like, and I was like, how long was, and one of the things I asked, I said, how long is your average conversation? He goes, oh, I don't know. So he's going to go back and check what his average conversation length is, because like you say, I know that the average agent, if they have 15 conversations a day, they're going to win, right? But let's say they fall short and they have 10, they're still going to win because the average agent currently has 0. So
Yeah.
I love ending on time blocking. I love ending on something very practical and a very knowledgeable, easy way on how to do it, like to reverse engineer it. I could chat with you forever, but we want to keep these short and choppy so people actually can utilize them.
For sure.
Where do people find you? Where are you located in the world? How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, man. So if you head over to YouTube and type Robert Biehn official, that's Robert Biehn official. You'll find my channel. It's not pretty. I'm working on ramping it up because I run a live real estate news show called Scale Through the Fail, Real Estate News, Noise, and What's Next. And I teach all about articles, trends, and things that are going on in our industry, and then what to do about it. The show's really fun, too. I promise you, you've never seen a real estate show like this. It's as if Jimmy Fallon decided to get into real estate news talk show. And we play games. We have hilarious things that happen in the show, ridiculous questions, all with facts. So we try to make education fun, basically, and practical. So that's the best way. I will be coming out with a newsletter and a couple of things there, but that will be all on the show and announced and everything like that.
And where do you practice business at?
I am just outside of Nashville, Middle Tennessee, but we cover all of Tennessee. My team does. And then I actually have agents in every single state as well.
Oh, you guys, there you have it. Robert, this was a blast. Totally different than when Cody's on. So I'm glad that we got to just banter it out. And you guys go follow Robert. He's a wealth of knowledge. Like I said, I scrolled his Instagram and I saw some pretty good stuff on there. So I bet you his shows are even better. Robert, we will see you on the other side, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.